What happens? I saw my friend's girlfriend in his car, with her ex-boyfriend driving. I told him because I thought he would want to know another man was driving his car with his girlfriend in it. That was 24 years ago. He still doesn't talk to me, so that's cool. I guess only one of us got hurt. Sometimes the hardest thing is saying this isn't working anymore when the other person still thinks everything is fine. There's no way to soften that without it hurting. I had to call an employee at a remote job site and tell him his brother had been in an accident and that he needed to get to the hospital now to say goodbye. Years later, he told me he still flinches every time my name is on the caller ID. I had to tell my husband that his brother was killed by a drunk driver in a motorcycle accident. It was the worst experience of my life, and I don't ever want to deliver those news to anyone ever again in my life. My best friend's ex-fiancée cheated on him while he was away for a business trip. I just happened to be in the same club as her and saw her making out with the CEO of the same company he worked for. Safe to say, she didn't have the best expression on her face when she noticed me and told me to keep it under wraps in case I want to be the reason their marriage was ruined. They've been together for around 8 years, and she didn't want to ruin that. I called her out for being a hypocrite and called my B. I M/56 am HIV+. One day, my sister's F/56 husband calls me at work and says he and his friend were talking and were just wondering if it was possible to get HIV from getting a blowjob from someone with HIV. You know how you can tell when someone you know well is lying to you? It was like that. He has a history of cheating years ago. So I told him yes, absolutely. It's like the number 2 way of getting it. That's not true. He didn't say anything for about 10 seconds, then just hung up. I thought. I work on Ancestry and tracing family history for people, and I had to tell the person I knew them before this besides working for them, that their dad was not their dad. I was very nervous and knew it would cause grief. She was upset and confused, and in shock. She wanted me to continue, so I did. I was able to connect her to her bio father's family. I went with her, and we met them IRL. Had a month-long passionate fling with a tourist. We stayed in contact for months after he went back to his home country. When I offered to fly him out to visit me, he told me he had a girlfriend. After a few days of research, I found her on social media. Texted her, told her everything, included screenshots as proof. Looked like they had been together for 11+ years and played in a band together. Their band broke up for a while, it looked like. Yes. I told someone I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay between us. It hurt them, but in the end it was better than lying and dragging it out. Yes. When walking my dog once, he sniffed something in the bushes next to the street, and despite my best efforts to pull him away, he made me go in the bushes with him, and sadly, there lay a dead dog. Likely got struck by a car, and the driver unceremoniously hid the dog in the bushes and drove off. I contacted a nearby animal clinic, and they came to collect the dog's body. The next day, a lady who lives 2 streets away from me rang the doorbell, and she had a poster of her missing dog. It was the D. I had to tell my daughter her father died in a MC accident while she was on a girls' trip to New York. What happened is exactly what you'd expect. I told a coworker his clothes smelled kinda bad. He didn't seem to notice and kept wearing the same one for days. I was just trying to help TBH. I told my best friend to not get married just weeks before the wedding. It made me sick inside. I asked her to think about how well her partner knew her. If she was sure he knew her, I would stand by her. She called it off the next day. He really had no idea who she was or what she wanted. February 10th, 2026, I had to call my mother and tell her that our Amy, my best friend since middle school, I'm a man in my early 40s, who had spent countless holidays and times at my mom's house for almost 30 years, and my mom loved like one of her own kids, had taken her own life. It's truly the worst thing I've ever had to do. Losing my BFF was horrid for me, but the worst part of the whole deal was having to deliver that news to my mother. She's 70, and I don't know if she will ever get over this. It's never easy. I realized that delaying the truth only makes the hurt feel like a betrayal later on. It's better to be honest and hold space for their reaction than to keep them in the dark. I told the girl I had started dating that I was dating someone else rather seriously, so we had to break up. Although we weren't really together exclusively, it seemed to be heading that way. The thing is, the person I was now dating was our server from a few dates ago. And we had more than enough mutual friends that she was going to find out anyway, so I thought it would be kinder to tell her myself. It went okay. She is a very confident, cool person. But after going okay, it just kept. Had a friend of about 5 years. She got a new boyfriend of a month or two who hit on me. I was so upset, but not telling her never crossed my mind. I told her, and she never spoke to me again. They went on to get married, but divorced a few years later due to his repeated infidelities. Have had to tell some women I've been dating in the past they aren't for me. Rejecting someone is never a good feeling. Told a cousin that family rumor was that her father might not be her bio dad. She was well into adulthood, and while some may think I overstepped, I felt she had a right to know. I would, and I try to do as I'd be done by. I've been thinking of telling something that's going to destroy a marriage. An ex-friend of mine constantly talks shit about that girlfriend. How fat, how ugly, smelly, telling jokes about her behind her back. All lovey-dovey when they together, but as soon as he is with friends, it's all she can go F herself, calling her a pig. She definitely suspicies, because one of his friends told her. He told her to hurt her. By the end of it she was crying. But I guess she didn't believe him. He also cheated on H. I had to tell my mom that my sister died the day after my dad was admitted to the hospital and told his cancer was back and only had a couple weeks left to live. When I sat my mom down and told her I needed to tell her something important, she said, "Please don't tell me anything else bad. I can't handle anything else bad right now." That sucked. My wife came with a dog when we met. She had him for 12 years at that point. He was 14. He passed October 30th, 25. He was 24 years old. I found him the morning he passed. It was my duty to let her know, and it was dreadful. She had that good boy for 2/3 of her life. I arrived at my brother's house for a meeting about an upcoming event. He was out of town for work. I had to tell my sister-in-law that I thought I had seen one of her cats lying on the side of the highway in front of her house. The other people at the meeting went out with us to confirm it. The men wouldn't let my SIL get too close. They told us to go back to the house. She called my brother, then went to her bed to cry. The men put Luke, who was a very awesome cat, in a box. Later, we helped. I had to tell my brother-in-law and my wife that their mother was actively dying. Of course, they both knew it was coming. Just those words removed the last tiny sliver of hope. When my dad died, I was one of a few making phone calls to inform family. So it was multiple people that I had to say over and over what happened, and that my dad was dead. Hearing the anguish, the tears still bothers me almost 10 years later.